What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune in and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on this Unrivaled league and how I think, in my opinion, it's falling apart. Now I'm not sure how long the league is going to last. I think that I know they'll play this year, and I think they have like a 3 year a, a contract, a TV deal with an option to extend, right? And I don't see really Unrivaled being going past next year, right? I think 3 years is probably I think after 3 years they'll probably lose their TV deal. As you think about it, you like none of the big name players, most of the big name players are not playing. You don't have Caitlin Clark. She didn't play last year. You don't have Asia Wilson. She didn't play last year, won't play this year. Now they recently said that Angel Reese is not playing. So, like these women are not really supporting the league. And that's not a good sign. I thought that like even with this collective bargaining agreement that's going on, that the ladies, they would stick together to a certain point. And I don't know why I thought that. And somebody else made the point that you have women who are they're not making a lot of money. And so if there was a lockout, if there was a lockout, if the owners feel like these players are not really um they're not really trying to bargain in good faith and the owners lock them out, that would give them the leverage because these girls are not really sticking together. You know, because and when you have players who live from check to check, these players are go against that little, go across that strike line and cave in, because of the financial pressures that's going to be put on them. Not only is it going to be financial pressures put on them, then you're going to have the thing with if they offer more money, then they're going to have to fight with more foreign players coming over who want to make that money from them. So I don't know, these WNBA players might not get the deal that they want to get. And then, like I said, with them not supporting Unrivaled, they are going to be, I thought for at least this season, it would have been a good look for the players, not maybe not Caitlin Clark, and maybe not because Asia didn't play last year either. But the players who didn't play, who played like Angel Reese and everybody else, at least play this year because this is a contract year. So, and this is the year that you want to show solidarity. Like not playing this year in the Unrivaled League just shows the WNBA that there are cracks in that foundation. And I don't know why, like who's advising these young ladies, or maybe they have word from the WNBA to like don't play in that, that Unrivaled League. Maybe there's some backdoor deals or something being cut for that, right? Because already you can just see that this league, this Unrivaled League, is going to fall apart. Like last year, I thought they had a moderate amount of success in the league, and I know that the Unrivaled with Nafisa Collier and Breonna Stewart was hoping to grow, grow from there. It wasn't a bad start last year. I thought, there was some good games, and I thought they brought some interesting, like the one-on-one matches from play, that those tournaments. I thought that was good, but it's looking like they're falling apart already. And I already thought, right? I already thought that Unrivaled probably would go fade away anyway with the emergence of this new European league that they have. And when I said, like they got this European league, they're going to compete. They're going to be legitimate competitors with the WNBA because that's a 5-on-5 league. Also, they have a lot of talent, and they have money, so they can play. They can pay players to play in that league. And I thought that the European League that they're starting. What is it called? I forgot the European League, the name of this European League, but they have a legitimate chance because they're 5-on-5 and they have access to great talent too, or other great talents around the world. So they can compete with the WNBA on a larger scale than what Unrivaled could, right? And so Unrivaled, in my opinion, the 3-on-3 just seemed more like a gimmick. I thought Unrivaled should have been 5-on-5, but then if you do a 5-on-5 league, then you definitely stepping on the WNBA toes because now although the WNBA says that they don't really see Unrivaled as a competitor, which I don't believe. I think publicly the WNBA is saying that they don't see them as a competitor because you have WNBA talent all throughout the Unrivaled, you know what I mean, all throughout their league. So, they are competitors, whether the WNBA wanted to admit it or not, they are competitors. But the fact that you don't have everybody on the same page with the WNBA with this Unrivaled league is not really a good look. Like I said, I thought that they were going to eventually get frozen out, and just imagine like if the strategy for Unrivaled was to give themselves, at the very least, give themselves more leverage when it came to bargaining against bargaining with the WNBA. They even failed at that. You know, I don't really have confidence that they're going to get everything in this deal that they want. When the WNBA see that they fold, like they can't even set up their own league. I think now, all the leverage, I think, in my opinion, is with the WNBA. What's the guy name? Adam Silver had really came out a while ago and said that they were going to receive significant raises in the WNBA, and that's good. Now that I can't recall the amounts, but now that they have put that on the table and they have the amounts on the table, see, these players are really they bargaining and negotiating with people who who know what they're doing and they're professionals. And one thing that you're not getting from the WNBA and the NBA, you're not getting mixed messages. You're not getting mixed signals. You're not getting you don't see any like cracks, like it's they're united. Nobody's really saying, you got one person speaking for the league on one side, and then on the other side you have so many different people not only just speaking, but people just doing so many different other things, not realizing that if like you're showing chinks in the armor, and once you start to do that, the WNBA and the NBA is going to capitalize on every mistake that these young ladies make. you know um so first, I think Unrivaled is going to fall apart, and then when they see that fall apart, that's going to give the WNBA like more ammo to because people were thinking like, all right, if they lock us out, at least we will play in the Unrivaled league. But when you have all these players, say, well, I'm not playing, and I don't know, it just don't look like it's all about the money. And if it's all about the money, like you talking about people who don't love the sport, then they just react to the money. So yeah, this Unrivaled league, in my opinion, is really going to fall apart. Well, I knew they was going to fall apart, but like I said, even worse than falling apart is that they're showing that there are chinks in that armor, because you have too many people just doing too many different things. Everybody's just worried about self. Naturally, you know what I mean? Like you can't really blame people for different business and brand deals that they have. You can't really blame them for that. But if you care about the WNBA, then you have to show a united force. And most of these women in the league, you know, they just gonna break them apart. They just gonna, drive a wedge in between all of these young ladies. So, it is what it is. I think Unrivaled is in trouble. I think the WNBA players are not going to get everything that they want out the deal. They're going to have to also make some concessions that I think are going to come back and hurt them. Like as far as like, and I said this before, as far as like Nafisa Kalia and Breonna Stewart being owners or part owners of another professional team, this is going to be the last time that that happens. Like you don't see NBA players that own a part of any other franchise or part owners of franchise. So the WNBA going to make them cut that out, and so yeah, they falling apart, and so yeah, that's my take on it. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe. Also, don't forget to leave a comment, and I will check you all out in the next video. Peace.